Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm live here from an actual hotel in Santa Barbara because kind of on a mini vacation, so I'm not in the normal place as always. But we're gonna see if we can still source some books online, Amazon, eBay, and flip them on Amazon. The cool thing about this business, doing online book arbitrage, is you could literally source anywhere in the world. Like even if you didn't live in the United States, you could just VPN into the United States, and you could just be anywhere in source. So all you need is access to eBay and Amazon, and that's the goal. So let's dive in and let's see if we can't find some pretty good books here. So let's go starting with Flip Mine. We got Josh in the house. Excited to see what you can learn today. Awesome, man. Appreciate you being here. Let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and Sup, Joji. Hey, Rose. I'm so sorry about yesterday, Rose. So for anyone who has connected with me on Messenger yesterday, somehow someone got control over my Facebook Messenger account and was like spamming people with links that I do not want you to click on. So sorry that gave you like a heart attack, Rose. But that was definitely not me because I would never do that. How's it going, Jan? Good morning. Seagull, good morning. Good to see everyone. Let's watching from Los Angeles. Let's go, AJ, man. You're up early. I love the hustle, man. That's awesome. All right, let's jump into the screen and let's get started. All right, maybe let's try this. I think that's best. All right. I do only have my laptop here, so occasionally I'll switch back to see if there are any comments, but I won't be able to see any comments kind of live without having to switch back. So let's do our best. Okay, so we're going to do a few things. We'll look at some Keepa notifications. We'll also look at FlipMine. We'll do some Keepa deals page, and we'll go from there. So what I like to do on FlipMine is set up my columns so that I have the eBay price and then infer those off next to each other. So this is technically supposed to be the eBay price, and this should be the inferred 180 average. So if this is actually true, this would be a gold mine, but whether or not it's actually true is another question. And let's see, it doesn't look like it. It looks like the lowest use price is $8, but this could be a potential, Amazon to Amazon flip. All right, so this is an awesome graph. Whenever you have a graph like this where the use price is taking up a very small percentage of the entire graph, it's very difficult to read. So what you'd want to do is try to figure out where the outlier data point are. So the outliers are definitely the new price being $2,400 relative to the use price. You want to get rid of that. So to get rid of the new, you just get rid of that little new price there, and now things look a little bit better. Now, still notice that there are some used prices that went up to 2,000 or up to 400. So that's also kind of making the data look weird. So now I'm only going to zoom in to data before that. Now things look a little bit better. So what's really interesting about this book is it's seen a massive increase in used offer count. Back here in, let's say, between May and November, is like hovering between 1 and 5 used offers. So that little button up here said, between 1 and 5 used offers from whatever the cheapest price was at that time. And you can actually see the used offer count just started spiking. So now we're at significantly more offer count. You can actually see the market is responding to this cheaper price now. We would tend to think that as the offer count increases, at some point, people are going to be competitive in the marketplace and the price of those books are going to come down because they're going to try to sell it. And you do see that as soon as this price dropped down, you see the market start responding. Like now you see the offer count go 20, 18, 17, 16, 15. So it looks like a few people have bought a couple copies, and you can actually see sales rank dropping here. You can actually see that this prime seller at $14, you can see they just went out of stock. So it looks like they sold it for 14. So what's so interesting about this book is at a low offer count, it looks like it does hold some somewhat decent value. Like, we could say these are a few sales rank drops in the $50 range. And even if we go back into time, like when the offer count was pretty high, this thing was still selling pretty well for about 25, 26 bucks. Now, what's really interesting, and I'm sure a lot of you probably may know this, but some of you may not know this, but there's this little button called trade in. And back in the day, Amazon used to let you trade in books that you had for a gift card. So you can see that little red button. So Amazon was letting you trade this in for up to $10 at some point. So definitely this book has a little bit of value. I would say I think this book is probably a little bit undervalued considering that the offer count today is right around like 15, and you could pick this up for right around like 10 bucks versus in the past when the offer count has been as high as like 30. Looks like people were still willing to pay around 25, 30 bucks. So I think, one of the reasons why this book hasn't moved in a while is because the price kind of went above what people were willing to pay for it. So I wouldn't pay 28, right? I think that's kind of what market value is for this book. But, my decision to buy a copy would really come down to are there really other prime sellers on the listing? Looks like there's one in the buy box at 24, and then it goes up to 46. So I would be probably trying to price this around like $35 as a prime seller. So I would put that in the seller ramp, or not the cost price, put that as my sales price, like $35 there. And then, well, I mean, 1253 is what you buy for. So it's not like this is a home run by any means. I mean, I think you could probably make a little bit of money on this, especially if the offer count were to go down a bit. So that's something that right now I'd still probably pass on. But if it was a little bit cheaper, I probably would pass on. And I mean, keep in mind that this was selling October of last year for the $50 range. So there's potential definitely for that. What's up, Victor? Good to see you, man. Victor saying, thank you for always finding time to support the OA book community. Now let's make some money. Let's go, man. If you don't know who Victor Gallegos is, then you need to know who that man is. He has a free Facebook community, seasonal online arbitrage, and yeah, great person to follow. Definitely great friend of mine. Okay, let's keep going back. That was just the first book. We won't go into as deep of a keep analysis on all books like that, but I thought that was an interesting book to look at. All right. So the next book is a functional programming book. So it looks like it is cheaper on Amazon as well. So maybe a potential Amazon to Amazon flip. Same thing here. Notice that these new prices got up to 1900. It's kind of skewing the data, right? It makes it so much harder to see on the graphs. Let's get rid of that new price. Now things are a little bit easier to see. I mean, even this $190 price is kind of skewing the data. So even if we kind of zoom, so zoom into a section so we don't get that data point, we see things a little bit more clearly. So this book looks like maybe the $15 to $20 range is what it sells. It looks like it does have possibility of selling higher. Let's put collectible on. Doesn't look like there are any collectible offers, but yeah, I mean, $25 range. This is probably what it could sell for. I mean, you'd only have to pay about $7 to pick this up, $6.91, and obviously this isn't a current textbook. This came out in 1980, so clearly this has demand. Like, people want this book, as evident by the sales rank dropping. I would just say that this is a book that can definitely go really cheap, like it is today, but it also can sell upwards of 30. So I mean, like, this whole year has been selling for maybe the $20 range. Is this a prime offer at 34? Looks like it was. They were first seen November 27th. So I don't know. They probably actually didn't sell theirs, but this person right here was in the buy box for about 25, and it looks like they went out of stock. So it's likely that they probably sold a copy. So I mean, if you're picking this up for $7 and you're selling it for prime $29.99, like, there's a possibility to make a couple bucks there. I mean, $8 profit, 100% ROI. I just probably wouldn't buy more than one copy. This doesn't move a whole ton. Let's see what the offers look like. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's like 5 offers, really cheap, and then it goes back up to like the $43 range. So are there any prime offers? Looks like there's one at 51. Yeah. So if I were to buy a copy, I would come in at $29.99. I bet we could probably sell it at that, considering that when the sales rank is dropping, the lowest use price is like in the 20s, low 20s, and that usually doesn't include shipping. So that's an all right deal, but we're looking for great deals. We're not looking for all right deals. I think you could make money on that, but it's not something that is going to be letting you quit your job. We'll say that. Let's see. Anything new come up here? If not, we can head on over to Keepa and see if we got any alerts. This looks interesting. A world tour, vintage hotel labels. Cool book. All right, let's see what we got. $70 on eBay. All right, I would say this is probably a little bit undervalued on eBay then. So this is a book, again, that doesn't sell a ton. You can count the sales rank drops, maybe like 10 or so sales this past year. Amazon was selling this new back in the day for about $40, $44. So it's always good to know what the MSRP is, because you always kind of want to think relative to today's use price when Amazon is out of stock. How much more is this book in use condition compared to MSRP in the past? Because you always got to think, is it possible that Amazon would come back in stock? Obviously, no one has a crystal ball. Amazon may come back on this listing today, or they may never come back on this listing. You have no idea. But it's always good to think, what is the use price today relative to the MSRP? And what we can see is that it looks like Amazon was selling this for, like, right before they went out of stock, like between $50 and $60, and a little bit cheaper before that as well. Now, in the last year, it looks like these sales rank drops occur when the use price is over 100. And I'm also going to, again, see how this new price is 1,400. Let's get rid of that and make the data look a little better. So, I mean, 139, 99. So Looks like most of these sales are over 100. A little bit of a repricing war here. Got all the way down to 44. Someone picked up a copy. So that would have been undervalued because then look at all these opportunities. You would have had to sell it for like 100. So it would have been nice. Looks like the buy box price was basically just hanging out at the lowest use price. So it doesn't look like there's much of a prime bump or a prime gap here. Now, cool. The previous years, it looks like it has sold for higher. Like here's a sales range drop at 200, one at 200 as well. A few more over here at 120. So this is a book that I'd say probably has value, like right around on the low end, probably 80, at the high end, like maybe 150. So probably that's where you'd put your min and max price. The question is, would you want to pay $70 for a book you'd sell for 100? Probably not, right? There's not enough margin there. So let's just say I'd say we should be able to sell this for about $100, given the offer count, given the past data, right? Maybe more than that, but I'd say 100. So let's reverse engineer what we'd want to pay. I mean, definitely wouldn't want to pay 70. I'd leave this $2 profit. I would say probably somewhere around like a 40 range would be optimal with this book. Is this person going to accept a $40 offer? Very unlikely, but we could always contact them and we can just say, hey man, would you do 40? You never know. Some people say yes, some people say no. So I'm gonna say 40 question mark just to be super quick about it, but definitely a little bit undervalued. Let's see. Thanks, Rose. I appreciate it. Smash the like button. Let's go. Yeah. Interesting, right? We've been coming from different locations over the last few weeks. So kind of breaking the traditional sourcing headquarters. All right, let's see. Anything else that we got here? Let's open this book here. See if I can show you something of that book. Okay, this is a book again that looks maybe slightly undervalued. It's $8.60. They actually have this coupon extra 10% off 3+ items. So if you're able to get, a few more items, and let's say this was profitable and the other two are profitable, that'd be a good way to find stuff a little bit cheaper. So it looks like this lowest use price has been right around 20. In the past, it's right around 20. It's kind of crept down a little bit, so maybe slightly undervalued, not enough that I'm really gonna want to take a super deep dive into it. Now let's look at this National Electric Code book because I want to see if something on the Keepa chart. Let's see. Okay, so what I want to show you with this book here, this is a National Fire Protection Association's book, and if you look at the Keepa chart here, notice that earlier this month, May 7th, there was a big drop off in new offer count and used offer count. So new offer count went from 20 to 2, and used offer count went from 17 to 0. So this means that that an IP complaint was likely sent. And I actually know that an IP complaint was sent because a couple people messaged me about these books specifically. But just beware of this National Electrical Code books. Many of them did get IP complaints. So if you are on them, you're probably not on them anymore because you probably got an IP complaint, but probably shouldn't sell them, even though it says yes. Now, one thing we could do is go to the counterfeit book probability check and let's see if this is likely to be counterfeit. Yeah, okay, this one says unlikely, probably because there's not enough data points. This just came out in 2023. But for the ones that are a little bit older, I know that those are highly likely to be counterfeited as well. So it's a good book just to stay away from in general. Let's see if we can find this 2020. So let's see if we can see a similar drop off in new and used offer count. We scroll down here. Yeah, so we can see the same thing happen here. Kind of a weird thing happened in the used offer count, kind of stayed steady for a while. Not sure, probably Keepa just didn't, I don't know, maybe it wasn't tracking from those data points, but yeah, basically used offer count went from 56 to 22, new offer count went from 51 to 7. So that's what we mean IP complaint drop off cliff. So if we take this ASIN and we go back, let's see if this is likely to be counterfeit in the book probability counterfeit check. Yeah, this one says highly likely. So just a little PSA, stay away from that if possible so you don't get an IP complaint. All right, let's see if anything news refresh on Flipmine. Then we'll go over to some keep it notifications. So let's go to track recent notifications, see if anything came up. All right. So 38 minutes ago, we got design of electrical systems and building. All right. This was selling really well in January and February. Very good January textbook season book, right around $90. Maybe a little bit of a textbook season here in August, although the price back then was only about 30. And you can see that the price since then has kind of just tanked down to about 15. It looks like Used offer count is really not too much higher than it was in the past, which is good news. This book has held some pretty good value in the past. This book looks like it is a pretty old book here. So this is probably something that I'd pick up. Let's see. Yeah, this came out in 2003. Think about it logically. Is there any difference between 2022, 2021, 2023? If this book came out a couple decades ago, probably not, right? This book holds some pretty good value, and I think it's pretty cool that the prices eroded this much, considering the offer count really hasn't gone up too much. So let's see what offer counts we got. So you can spend about 17 bucks. Looks like there's maybe 4 or 5 copies, maybe like 6 copies until it goes back up to 50. Rent EU is on the listing, which is generally not a good sign, but they are at a higher price. That's a good sign. So they're at 50. And this has opportunity. What I would say is if this price kind of hangs out around this low price for a few more months, probably would buy maybe 1 or 2 for the January textbook season, but interesting book there for sure. See if there's anything else here. Let's see what this book looks like. Ooh, okay, very interesting book. This is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know if Victor's still here, but this is an interesting book. Right, this came out in 2018. Looks like Amazon was in stock for a while, and look, Amazon was in stock for $65, and people were eating this book up. So definitely, people like this book and are willing to spend some good money for it. After having gone out of stock, basically this book was selling for over $150, like $200 pretty consistently. You can see a number of sales rank drops there. Even this year, there's a number of sales rank drops of over 250. And then look at this. Actually, Amazon just came back in stock at 70 bucks. There's now 4 new offers at 65. Amazon has 1,000 plus. So this is probably just a placeholder. They probably don't have 1,000 in stock. So this is a little bit of a gamble, but this is an opportunity of an Amazon new flip to an Amazon used book. Like if I bought these in new condition from Amazon, I probably would still just sell them in used condition when they go out of stock. So, one thing you could try to do is add this to cart and add 1,000 copies and see if it allows you to do that. Let me open this right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna get rid of that in the cart so I can see this. Okay, so right now the buy box is still $355 new, which is kind of crazy that they're winning the new buy box at $300, considering that you could buy this new for $65 right now. So now it says air. So I don't know. That's in this case, it really comes down to how many you think Amazon has in stock. Like I probably, just to hedge my risk, I'd probably buy a couple. I mean, the good news is like the way I would think about this book is there probably isn't very much inherent risk of buying a few copies of this in new condition at 65, because look at the used price of this book when Amazon was in stock. The used price was basically almost the same as the new price. What that tells me is even if I were to buy a few of these new copies and I sent them into Amazon and Amazon never went out of stock again, I could probably still sell them for like 45 bucks or $50. And obviously I'll lose money, but it's not like me taking a gamble on this and spending $65. It's not like I'm gambling the entire $65. It's like worst case scenario, Amazon always stays in stock. I sell it for 50. I get $35 after fees. I lost 20 bucks per book. So for me, I feel like the downside is it's pretty low, and the upside is actually pretty high. So definitely an interesting case to maybe buy a couple books there, a couple copies there. Let's see, anybody else? AJ says, by the way, thank you for helping with your IP issue. Yeah, man, I'm glad that could help. I'm glad that I was able to help. $1,000 times 70 is a used bankrupt guy. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you can go so deep on that. You can just buy like 1 or 2, buy and hold. Why is it you can buy new non-book products from Walmart and resell them as new, but you can't do the same with books? I mean, Jan, you can. I just think for whatever reason, being conditioned, well, I don't know how much validity there is. I've been conditioned to think that selling new books specifically is likely to end in a bad result. If you have an invoice for that thing in new condition, I think it's okay. But I mean, in this case, you'd buy it directly from Amazon. So it's actually probably okay. You could probably give Amazon the receipt that, hey, look, I bought this from you in new condition. So if Amazon called you out, you'd probably be fine. So you probably could sell in a new condition. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I would try to sell in new condition. I just have always sold things in used condition, even if I had bought them for in new condition. If I bought it from a third party new seller on Amazon, I would definitely sell it in used condition. But yeah, it's definitely a good question. Let's see what else. I think I wanted to show something. Let's go back here. But I forgot what I was going to show. All right. See if there's anything else that we're tracking. So that was a really interesting book to track. Let's see if there's anything else that has shown up here. Got some few books. Some of these books I've already looked at. Some of them are okay. Some of them are all right. Like some of these would have been good, but you can see that the drop is already gone. So, all right. So let's go and do a little bit of keep it deals, and then maybe we can do some product finder and see if there's anything else on Flipmine before we go back. All right. So let's just use whatever I have set up. I've used books. I have the book category looking for used drop interval over the last day, 30% drop, at least a $20 drop, anywhere between $0 and $42. We're going up to 3 million sales rank. We're going to sort by the newest, and we're just going to speed run these, see if we can't find. So we got 1,000 results. Probably won't be able to get through all of them, but let's see if we can't find something decent here. First one, look, this one looks all right. Okay, it looks like the used price back here in September is right around like 15. Now the price is $3, so not super undervalued, but maybe low potential. This looks decent here. All right, the soft hackled fly addict. Don't know what this book is about, but this used price has been hanging around right around 40, and boom, just dropped down to $18. So this book definitely, I would say, is a little bit undervalued. Like it can sell up to 50, which is great. So this is something I would definitely consider picking up. Let's see what the offers look like. Looks like we got 1871 in used condition. Good. This came out in 1973. Okay, this is a fly fishing book. Definitely a niche book that I think would be great. I mean, good reviews. Came out in 1993. Sold multiple times for $40. Super undervalued. Offer count is low. This has been selling since 2016. Always over $40. Sometimes upwards of 50. How high can this go? Somebody's been willing to pay up to $100 for this in used condition. So definitely this is a no-brainer. This is a steal. And if no one buys this book, I'm buying this immediately. 1871. I would list this probably as a prime seller. I'd probably try to get a little bit of prime bump. I'd probably try to go $49.99. And yeah, that's a $15 profit. That's a book that's going to pay for your Starbucks and your a sandwich. So definitely a great book there. Let's see what else we got. Collins Complete Work. Still alive. All right, When the Sun Rose. Interesting book here. So this has been selling most recently, it looks like for $30 to $40. There was a period of time where it got down to $7, which is probably a little undervalued. Now, it's a little bit misleading. You would think that these sales were for 100, but actually these sales are when the price drops. So it looks like $18, $25, and $20. So there was a sales range drop back here at 130 though. So let's go back into time and see what we got here. Looks like this probably is hanging out right around 20. So that's probably what this book is worth. What's it at? It's like 22. So we're going to pass on that book. All right. What is this? AP Comparative Government. Looks like this is maybe selling around the $20 range. You can pick it up for $7. Not much opportunity there. Okay, a little bit of opportunity. This one, Handbook of Obesity Treatment. Okay, so you actually do see the used price right around 24. The new price is right around 50 from a third party and about 55 to 60 for Amazon. So probably not enough margin here for you. If this was $24 free shipping, maybe, but definitely this book sells a lot better. If this was maybe at $12, there'd be enough margin there probably. All right, let's see about this surfing book. This surfing book looks to be a little bit undervalued, not nearly as good as the last one we looked at, but there are a few sales ring drops in the $30 range. Now, in the past, it has been a lot cheaper, right around kind of what its value is today. So for that reason, I'd pass on that book. But developmental psychology, $50. Okay, this has been out 500 days. Let's see when this has been published because maybe this has been out for a while. Scroll down to the publishing date. So this came out in 2019. So this is a fairly recent book. It's kind of interesting that I can't even sell it. So it's a moot point anyways, but let's see if there's rating reviews. So the reviews on this book have been going up, even though there was no sales rank. So for whatever reason, Keepa wasn't keeping track of this sales rank, but it clearly has been selling considering that the review count of this book has been going up. So this probably was selling in the $70 to $80 range. And now the price of this book is down to $8. So that's an interesting. Looks like there's a couple of sales rank drops here as well. Maybe in the $100 range. So what I'm going to do is actually go to bookfinder.com. And let's see if there's actually any buyback companies willing to buy this. This would be an interesting. I doubt it. Probably not. The sales rank's probably not good enough. $885. I mean, shows you that it has value. Like right now, the lowest price is around $860 plus shipping. So you lose a little bit of money if you were to sell to a buyback, but clearly buyback companies willing to give you some money for it. So definitely interesting book there. Let's go back to Keepa Deals. Somehow I got out of that. See any of the comments? Oh, okay. Let's come back here. Okay, it looks like a couple more deals just refreshed here. Okay, this book looks like it is something that would be a good pickup as well. Let's see. All right, so right now you can pick this up for 22. I feel like I've sold this book before. This came out in 2001. I'm not super well educated in religion, so I probably should know what this is, although I don't. So this came out in 2001. It's a Bible of some sort. It looks like this has been selling in the $70 range. This looks like what the sales rank drops have been looking like in the past. This looks like it's been selling in the $60 range, like in the $36 range there. So it's kind of been all over the place. Looks like the lower end's been like 35 to 40 and the higher end's been about 70. So right now it looks like $22, $25 it looks like is what you could pick it up. And there's actually only 3 copies before it goes up to 70. So this one has potential. It might take a little while to sell, but if you pick it up for 25, you can probably come in as the prime offer, $69.99, which would be a cheaper offer. What's the prime offer right now? It's 74. Yeah, you could probably make a $23 profit. So I said it's solid. Like I would definitely buy one copy of that. I don't think there's much risk buying this book, considering that in the past, 2017, 2018, 2019, the cheapest this book has really ever been is kind of what the price it is today. And let's see what the cheapest it's ever been was actually in 2021 for about $4. October 2021. Let's see if we can see that. 2021. Yeah, would have been this price right here momentarily for $3.95. This would be a great book to track as well. So I'm going to track this for, let's say, anytime it's under $20, including shipping. Let's track that. But yeah, I'd buy a copy of that. So I'll save that there. I think selling it for $69 is completely reasonable for that book. So let's see what else we got. You might have someone coming here in the background, so sorry about that. Let's see. All right, so we're good. We're good now, everyone. All right, what is this book here? 500 plates and charged, innovative expressions of function style. This is at a really low offer count, so probably the reason why it's selling for a little bit more money recently, up in the $40 range, is because one, the new offers went out of stock, so there's been no new offers since a few months, and it looks like the price has gone up to about 40. It looks like someone dropped the price back down to 15. Now let's go back in time and see when the offer count was higher, what was it selling for? Let's say this is holding consistent value in the $25 range, selling pretty well there. Is it undervalued? Yeah, maybe slightly, especially considering that there isn't a new offer, but it's still something that probably I'd pass on unless this is free shipping. Let's see if it's free shipping or not. It's not free shipping, so you'd have to spend. There's only 2 offers here, so you'd be spending, would that be like 1870? So let's put 1870 in. And if you were to get this buy box price of like 44.95, looks like this seller actually did sell at 44. Be making a little bit of money, but $7 profit, I'd probably still pass on that. There's better books out there. So let's see what else we can find. Lord of the Forest, 36, maybe a little bit undervalued, not quite enough. All right, let's see what else we got. So right, all I'm doing is some Keepa analysis on the left here. So you should be seeing the Keepa chart pop up on the left-hand side of my screen here. And I'm just trying to see if any of these books look like they would be undervalued. Let's just look at this one for a second. Let's get rid of the collectible price. 35. Okay, no. Get rid of that. Let's just keep rolling. True novel. So as you can tell, most of the books that you're going to come across, even on Keep It Deals, are not going to be books that you end up buying. So it's still a numbers game. Going through as many listings as possible. All right, this book looks like it could be okay. In the past year specifically, this has been selling most of the time over $30, up to $70 sometimes, like up to $70 here. Okay. Now, recently it's come down in price. The good news, though, is that the offer count is actually really low, and the price is about $7. So a lot of these offers have gone out of stock. They're prime sellers. This person went out of stock here at $61. That's good news. This person went out of stock about $23 as a merchant fulfilled seller, which is good. So let's just take a look to see kind of what the offers look like here. Actually, it's not no longer available. So somebody else bought it. I would say this probably would have been about $11 after shipping. And the goal here probably would just be to try to sell it at market value. I would say probably just try to sell it like $39, make a $12 profit, get out of there. I mean, someone was able to sell this for up to 60, which is cool. This person, Granite City Books, they're a prime seller. They sold pretty much they sold out immediately, almost at $72. So there's a little bit of potential, especially since you're at a high or low offer count. Maybe you could get up to $60, in which case that'd be an amazing flip. But kind of what scares me a little bit about this book is in the past, it has been really cheap. So for whatever reason, this book all of a sudden is worth more money, probably because of that offer count being much lower now than it has been in the past. So I probably would have picked that book up, but I probably wouldn't have tried to go up to 60. I'd probably try to sell it at a cheaper price just to get it sold. But I think that would have been a decent deal. $16 here. Okay, this looks like a great deal. This is something that should be gone and should not be there at all. The 2 most recent sales were at 100, and then this book just dropped down to about $5. So I would highly doubt this book is still there. Yeah, it's not there anymore, but clearly this is a book that would have been an amazing deal. This came out, let's see, this updated 44 minutes ago. So if you came across this book more than probably 4 or 5 minutes after it dropped, you probably wouldn't have got it. So you probably would have had to have got this in the first few minutes. Also, is there no one tracking this book? It's actually no one tracking this book. That is crazy. So let me see. Am I still sharing here? Okay, I'm still sharing. Yeah, so no one is actually tracking this book, which is kind of fascinating to me, considering that this book has dropped in price before in the past. So I'm going to track this book. But yeah, this dropped in Keep It Deals. I mean, this would have been an amazing flip. You would have paid, what, $5 plus shipping. So you'd have paid about $9 for this. And then, I mean, if you just sold it what it has been selling at 100, I mean, you'd have been, would have made a $62 profit there. So awesome. This is something that I'd probably still track for like $20. Anytime it's under 20, I'll pull the trigger on it. So great deal there. But unfortunately, it was gone. And you're going to find, we're not the only people doing this. Plus, I've been teaching people how to use Keep a Deals and Product Finder and how to track books. So it's not like it's easy pickings. It's also not too difficult, but there are other people out there doing it as well. So this also looks like would be a great book to pick up, but probably also gone. So this is also gone. You can see that this was updated about 50 minutes ago. So if you were on Keep It Deals about an hour ago, boom, you would have got 2 books back to back. That would have been great deals. Same thing here. You could have probably sold this for probably not 108, maybe like 80. It's a book that doesn't sell a ton, so you probably want to have a little bit more distance between the new and the used price here. But those 2 books I would say are no-brainer books. Like, those are books that you'd see and you buy them immediately, and that's like the lower hanging fruit. The books that are gonna give you books that you're gonna be able to find more often are the ones where you do a little bit more Keepa analysis to figure out if it's a good book to buy or not. So here's an example of a book. Looks like this just dropped down to about 31. Most recent sales around the $60 range. It looks like this book has been selling in the $60 range in the past. It looks like it has been upwards of 100 in the past as well. What is this? This is a tequila cocktails book. So clearly very niche, probably great reviews. I mean, it has somewhat decent reviews. Second chance books, probably a thrift store. So you could pick this up for, what is it? 36. This would be an amazing deal for somebody who wants this book, considering that, normally they had to pay up to upwards of 60 for it. Now, there are quite a few prime offers and some new sellers right around the $80 mark. So because these new sellers have come on the listing recently, I probably wouldn't buy this book. But if there were no new offers in, maybe we could sell this for $69.99 or $79.99. I mean, it'd be good. But the reason why I love buying books like this is because these are books that inherently hold value. Like, even when Amazon was selling this book for $50, in used condition, this book was always like $30. So it's like, how are you going to lose? I mean, there's not really much way to lose. Like, your money is pretty safe in a book like that. You're definitely not going to lose all your money. Worst case scenario, you might lose a percentage of what you invested in it, but I see it as an asset, something that actually holds value. All right. Interesting book. Definitely the used offer count on this is very choppy, which means it's probably selling out very quickly after someone's coming in stock. One, there's just not very many people in stock. So when someone comes in stock, it goes out of stock pretty quickly. But there's also a collectible price on this as well. And the collectible offers are also moving quite a bit, which means that the collectible offers are selling. Looking at the base price, this probably is worth right around $30. That's kind of what the lowest used price was back when the offer count was more stable. So, I mean, yeah, you're picking this up for 15. I'd say it's slightly undervalued. It's probably not undervalued enough for you to, consider yourself getting a home run or anything. So, also looks like this is sold for the $11 range. So it has been a little bit cheaper, sold there for 11. So yeah, I mean, definitely something I'd probably pass on, even though I think it might be slightly undervalued, but not enough to make me really super excited about it. Okay, this is something I'm going to want to track. Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness. Really great consistent value around the $40 range. And then you can see there's a little bit of a dip right here where someone bought it. Looks like it went down to $11.47. This is something that has been cheaper in the past, but has held some pretty good value. So if this ever gets to, I'm going to say $12 or less, let me know. Would be with shipping included. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Though really, actually, one of my favorite things about buying books on Amazon as well to flip is sometimes you find books that you're interested in and are really are still really undervalued, and you can buy them, read them yourself, and flip them. Like, this is a book. This is a rock hunting book, so this is going to be very niche to the North Carolina's Blue Ridge Mountains. So this is some sort of geology book. People love geology books. This is a book that I would track because in the past, you can see in October 2020, there's a repricing war where this went all the way down to about $5. So it's probably around $10 with, free shipping. That also happened back here in October as well. So this is something that holds some pretty good value, right? In the $40 range, I'd say probably what it sells at, and it can go down as low as 10. So whenever this goes down to 10 or less, I would like to know because I would pick up multiple copies. This is a book that inherently holds pretty good value. There's a lot of demand for it. So What I mean, going back to my original point, is if I was into geology, which I kind of am into geology, and specifically if this is a book that I wanted to read, and let's say this book was like $10 right now, I could buy it and I could read the book and then I can just flip it back on Amazon. So that's actually one of my favorite things to do is occasionally, usually like once or twice per week, I actually buy a book because I'm really interested in it and it also happens to be undervalued. And, therefore I can buy it on Amazon, read it, and then just flip it when I'm done with it. And, arguably I get more value out of actually having read the book rather than making 20 bucks on the book after selling it. But it's definitely a cool thing to do. So this creative curriculum book for toddlers is a little bit undervalued. Looks like the used price has been in the $50 range. It's now down to 30. So buy box price has been kind of chilling right around the $60 range. So probably not going to be enough for you to, probably not enough margin for you to make enough money on that, but it's interesting. This looks really good. It looks okay, actually. So this Death March book just dropped in price down to $7.72. We're seeing a little bit of an increase in the offer count. In the past, it's been around 15, has sold upwards of 36. At some point, there was only collectible offers. Looks like it was actually selling for maybe the $40 range. There have been used offers as low as $4. So, okay, not as great as I originally thought, but a couple sells in the $20 range, a couple sells in the $30 to $40 range. So if this is free shipping, it might be something I'd be considering. Let's see. So it's not free shipping. So yeah, I'd probably pass on this one, but an interesting book there for sure. Let's go back here. Who else do we got? Okay, so we got quite a few comments. Sorry about this, guys. Haven't been keeping up with them. All right. What else? Do you get many canceled orders? My mom has been doing this a few weeks and gets a surprising amount of. Joseph, yeah. If you like a lot of the great deals, especially there are some sellers like Book Dines for sure that they'll cancel book sales a lot because other people buy it before you did. So yeah, I mean, I definitely also get canceled orders and they're definitely annoying, but definitely more of the higher percentage of the books I buy I do actually go through, but a small percent, maybe like 10%, maybe one out of every 10 books gets canceled. Could you set this up to automatically purchase items when they hit below that target, or do you have to manually purchase the items? That's a great question, Mike. I would say probably you could build some sort of macro or some sort of script that would do that. I would say it's probably a little bit risky because if the script doesn't work properly, it could start buying a whole bunch of books that are actually not great deals. So you could probably do that, although it'd probably be better just to have a VA that you've trained do that so that they can actually buy it for you. What's up, Bob? Going for a walk. We'll listen as I walk, then catch the replay. Sounds good, man. Adam says, are you stocking up on Christmas books to flip in November and December? Yeah, I've actually maybe bought around 100 Christmas books and started sending them in. Some really great books as well. So, yeah, I've been doing that. Hey, how's it going, Romer? How's it going, Avery? Hey, good to see you. I've got a read first, then sell book that I picked up at thrift store right now too. Awesome. Yeah, definitely the best way to do it, in my opinion. So good questions, everyone. Keep it. Yeah, and I can fire them as well. I suppose so. Yes. All right. Let's see what else. Anything. So we're at 7:15 a.m. See if there's anything else that we want to do. Let's look at some product finder. We've done keep it deals enough. We've done a little bit of Flipmine. Flipmine hasn't really updated much, which is kind of weird. Usually it would have updated more. It's also kind of earlier in the morning, although on the East Coast, it's a little bit later in the day. So let's look at this sailing book. According to Flipmine, this is a $230 average used price book. Buy box is $340, which is crazy. Okay, very interesting, this book. Only 4 or 5 sales in the last year, according to Keepa. Could have been selling for more times than that because the sales rank is kind of looking really weird. Like if you look here, the sales rank is 1.6 million, and here is 1.5 million. So it could be that Keepa is just not really tracking this book very often. So it could be selling more often than that. But let's first look at the base price. So it looks like Amazon sold this between $60 and $100 new. What's fascinating about this book is you can see the sales rank actually gets worse as Amazon's price goes higher, which makes sense. Amazon's basically offering this for a more expensive price. Fewer people are willing to pay it. Makes sense. Sales rank got a little worse. Amazon at some point came back in stock at 100. It looks like at that point in time, the sales rank got better again. And then when Amazon's out of stock, maybe this is selling, 115. There's a couple of new copies probably selling at the 130 range and new, 250 for a used copy. 149. So, I mean, this is kind of all over the place. kind of where you wanted to pick this up. And this is another argument for why you track books. Look at this. Price of this book dropped from $2.85 down to $7. And there's probably multiple copies there because you actually see the sales rank drop twice. It went from 1.7 million to 171,000, and then again down to 140,000. The offer count went from 10 down to 7. So it's probably 3 copies that someone bought there. Snagged a great deal. Same thing happened again. This time went down to 655. There's probably 2 copies there because offer count was 12 and went down to 10. So this is a book to track for sure. The reason why this is a great deal is think back to when Amazon was selling this for $65. Basically, the used price was 40. So, I mean, if you wanted to buy this in used condition, you still had to pay up for it. So, I mean, if you're picking this up for $8 or $9, then obviously a great deal. One thing that does concern me a little bit is this drop off on used offer count and new offer count, although it was kind of like a stair step down rather than a cliff. So I'm not really sure what to expect there to what to think about that, but definitely something that I would not be paying $90 for, especially considering in the most recent past, you could pick this up for about $10. But it is likely that that could happen again. So let's go and track it for $15. And if that ever happens again, send me a notification. All right. Let's do some product finder real quick. So let's go to data. Let's go to product finder. Let's see if we can set up some parameters. Let's look for sales rank books up to 2.5 million. That. Okay, then let's look for books. Should we look for books that Amazon's out of stock? They don't necessarily have to be out of stock, but let's say that their current price has to be at least $85. Let's say that the new third-party price has to be at least $80. Then we'll scroll down to the root category. Let's pick books. Do we want a subcategory? I don't think we really need a subcategory here. Let's look at a declining offer count. Let's go to used offer count, and let's say the 90-day average is, let's say it's $20. Let's say it's 20 or more, and let's say the 30-day average is a little bit less. So let's say it's maybe like 10 to, well, let's just say it's up to 15. So it's less than the 90-day average. And let's say the current offer is anywhere from 0 to 5. There's only one product like that. Let's go 0 to 10. So maybe let's just see what these books look like. So really what we're doing is trying to find books that have kind of fewer offers than they have in the past, and then just seeing if any of them potentially could be decent. So it doesn't look like those filters found anything that look too great. Yeah, nothing that dipped down in price. Let's go back to advanced filter. Let's see how we can get more results here. So let's see what we did up here. Up to 2.5 million. We're in the book category. And let's see, offer count. I'm surprised that that would not return so many results. All right, let's try something else then. Let's try, let's say the 90-day drop percentage. Let's try that. Let's say the drop percentage and offer count is at least 50%. Okay, there we go. So that's 1,000 products. There's more products. So this would be a book that over the last 90 days, the offer count has, on average, has gone down by at least 50%. So if, let's say the offer count was 20, now it's 10 or less. And then let's go to the used prices. That's going to be important. Let's say, let's also say it's the lowest ever. So this is a book that basically has never been cheaper on Amazon, and the offer count has significantly gone down, which should be a good sign. And let's see if there's anything like that. So here's a book, a Black recording artist. Definitely a niche book. It doesn't sell very often. However, has sold for some pretty good money in used condition. And this is now down to $7. So, I mean, this is something that you might pick up. You might try to sell 30 or 40. It probably just doesn't sell enough for me to want to buy it, though. And let's see. I think this is sorted by sales rank, so probably gonna get some of the books that have not as great of a sales rank. Let's see. Coronavirus book. All right, let's go back. And let's actually get rid of this Amazon new price. Let's just say Amazon's out of stock. Okay, let's see this now. There are more results doing this. Go as a river. Dust Child. Dragon's Prey. So you can see that, I'm kind of experimenting with some filters here to see if we can find anything different. I always experiment because sometimes you come across product finder filters that are like, wow, I actually found some really great books. And there's so many ways that you can use the product finder. Okay, probably what we need to do is actually set a use price. Let's go back to advanced filter. Let's say that the use price, let's get rid of the lowest offer ever. And let's just say that the 90-day drop percentage in use price is also 40% or more. Maybe let's go more than that. Let's go 60%. And let's say that the 180-day average of this book, though, is at least $25. We can go more than that. Let's go $35. Okay, there we go. 378 products. So let's see what this returns. Okay, interesting. Tarot cards, $45. Origin of the Moon. So let's see. Here's a double weave book. I was just clicking on this book to see if maybe Kipo just wasn't tracking this book well, but so this book has been very expensive in the past, but it hasn't really been selling very much. So let's keep going down. Concise Laboratory. All right, so this looks like the first halfway decent book. It looks like most recently this book has been selling in the $60 range, $60 to $70 range. It's been selling in the past for about $50 as well. So I'd say anywhere between like 35 to 60 is kind of what this book has been selling for in the past. Has been selling pretty well. Amazon was in stock at 80. It looks like in the used condition selling for about 45 to 50. Offer count is really low today, so this is a book I would definitely consider picking up. Hawking Books. When did this come out? Looks like a somewhat new book. Yeah. Oh, 2009. So it has been out for a while and it's still selling really well. I mean, most recent sales have been at 60. Question is, what do the offers look like? Yeah, there's only one offer at 18. So definitely a great book there. I would buy that. If no one else buys that, I will buy that after the stream. What would I sell that? So $18.95. That was free shipping. You would send this in probably. I mean, for me, I'd want to be the prime, prime seller. So I'd probably, the buy box seller. I probably would list it at 65, and that'd be a nice $25 profit if it sells there. Let's actually look at the prime offers. This is a great sign that the book you're buying is likely to be undervalued. If there's only 1 or 2 copies or 3 copies at a significantly lower price than the other copies. So clearly whoever this is just came on the listing today for whatever reason. Either they priced this incorrectly or who knows what, but definitely they are pricing this well below what they should be pricing it based upon historical data. So let's actually look at this seller and let's just see who they are. This is Hawking Books. Okay, this is a big seller. So for whatever reason, they just mispriced this book. So there's also no prime sellers. There's only 3 offers. This book has been selling for $40 and more when there's 19 offers on the listing. So clearly, great deal there that I would snag. And let's actually, let's not do that. Okay. Ooh, that's a good question. What's the most I've ever spent on a single item for a flip? I think the most I've ever spent on one item is like $400 on a book, and that book still hasn't sold yet. So that book is probably it's a book I'm still trying to sell. But yeah, I frequently, Mike, will spend, I frequently buy books between $50 and $100 pretty much every day. But I would say, like, just yesterday, I bought a book for like $120. So I'd say usually most of the books I'm buying are probably in like the $8 to $30 range most of the time. But every day I buy books between 50 and 100, maybe, fewer books, obviously. And then every once in a while, I'll buy a book over $100, maybe up to $200 every once in a while. But yeah, well done. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's go back to share my screen. And size review. We go back to product finder. Hopefully my filters are still saved. Accidentally didn't open up a new link. I just clicked on it. So open that up and no one. Why is that? Okay. Let's go towards the bottom now. See if we can find anything. So, I mean, it took quite a bit to find that book though, right? I mean, it wasn't like that finding that book was easy. But also I was just experimenting. Like I haven't necessarily used those exact filters, right? I'm always experimenting with new filters to see what could work. Okay, this is a really interesting book. Mavis with Spirit 50. I don't know what this book is. This might be another religious book. Could be. Don't know if anyone knows. Let me know. But this came out 2008. There's one offer for $10, free shipping, super book sales. So fascinating book because offer count has been going down over time. Like it's been as high as 5. It basically went down to 0. Someone did actually buy it, right? $62 offer count went off. Someone also looks like they bought it at 46. So it looks like this came back in stock for 38 on May 11th. And then so somehow offer count went from 1 to 3. So maybe there's people drop shipping this book as well. But $46 then dropped off. Sales rank dropped. So someone bought it there. Now all of a sudden this is available at $10. For a book like this, I'd want to go back into the past because this book, the cheapest that this has been listed on Amazon for basically the whole year has been pretty expensive, like $50 plus, and even higher than that at times, 80, even up to 260 at times. So I would look back at the previous data and say, has the sales rank dropped in the past? And so what price? So back in 2021, looks like it dropped twice. Once at 48 and once at 33. Okay. So that's giving me vibes that this is maybe a very niche book. Here's a drop at 25, 30, another one at 30. So this is a book that you could probably merchant fulfill because generally there just are very few offers of this book available. And when this book has been selling, the cheapest price, which is probably the merchant offer, is around the $40 offer. So this is a book that, considering the last, these two sales rank drops in the recent past, where the sales rank of this book got down 277,000. So it's kind of crazy that it actually dropped that low from 5 million. So maybe someone did buy, maybe there were actually 3 copies and all 3 of them were bought, but that's a crazy drop in rank. I think that's probably good for the Amazon algorithm as well. Like when you have books that don't sell very frequently and their sales rank and their sales popularity gets higher, it probably becomes harder to search for that book on Amazon. And as the sales rank improves, it probably gets a lot easier to find that book. It probably gets recommended more often. So I mean, if you're buying this for $10, like this would be a long tail book, but if you were to merchant fulfill this for like $35, I think you could probably make money on this. I mean, even if you sent it in Prime for 35, I would bet that you'd be able to sell this and it probably would take less than 6 months to sell. Now, would you want to do that? I don't know. It's not an amazing deal, right? It's like, could you make money on this? I think you could. Is that like all the books you should be buying? No, you shouldn't be buying books like that. That shouldn't be your main model probably, but okay. Here's a book that you should track. This has shown multiple periods in history of going to really cheap. Like back here, 4 or 5 years ago, this went down to $6. Price rebounded, couple sales rank drops at 70. So, I mean, how could you not like how would that not be a good deal? Buying for $10, selling for 70. That would have been a great deal. So you would think that was the end of it, but nope. Back here in 2021, you had this repricing war. We started at 90, got all the way down to about 14, then down to 8. Price recovered. Looks like we have a sell at $80. Same thing here, a little dip in price, went down to 20. Someone bought it. So probably not even someone looking to flip it. Price went, I mean, maybe actually. Price went back up to 70, number of sales. Same thing happened right here. You have some sales at $30, then you actually see a dip in price down to about $9. So, another right here, look, $3 plus 4 cents shipping. So this is a birthday cake for George Washington. No idea why this book has so much value. It's kind of crazy that it has that much value, honestly. And actually, most recently, this dropped down to $3.04 again. So this is something that I would track for $10 free shipping because it's likely that in the next 10 years, this book is probably going to do that probably at least 10 more times, probably at least once per year. And every time, I mean, like even the most recent sales like have been for $50. So imagine if you could pick this book up for, even just $10 and you could flip it for 50. Like this book's going to sell for $50. It didn't come out in 1605. That's hilarious. It'd be cool to see when the actual publication date of this book was. But yeah, $50. I mean, it has sold up for 70. If you could pick this up for 10, would be a great deal for sure. Let's see if there's anything on eBay. I mean, people want $500 for this book, $350. So that's definitely not going to happen, but great book to track there. I guarantee you I'll flip this book at some point in my life, but awesome book there. All right. No, Adam, it wasn't. It's actually a volume set. It was a multiple volume set. It wasn't in one book. Ooh, any software to track pricing errors. Say someone priced a book for 1 cent prime or FBM. Not that I found, not that I know of. Should I make that software? Mike, should I use, I'll call it A2A IQ. How about that? Right in line with Scout IQ and Scout Leo, we call it A2A IQ. That actually sounds terrible. What would it be called? Yeah, we should make a software like that. But I would have to think about how would we figure that out? How would we find those offers? send you the startup invoice and how much you need. Yeah, I've seriously started to consider making some sort of softwares for Amazon. I'm just trying to figure out what that would look like and how to build it. Obviously, I don't have the coding skills to build it, but they do say that rich people pay smarter people than them to do stuff for them. So I'm going to have capital. So if I could figure out an idea to build a software that I think would actually be helpful to people, then I would love to try to go that route to build some sort of software. So I have some ideas about potential softwares, but so far nothing that actually I think would be viable in a marketplace. Like there would be a lot of difficulties, but clearly Scout IQ sold for some pretty good money. I'm not sure how much, but I mean, you could guess how much it sold for. And obviously Scoutly and Scout IQ, like that has provided a massive value add to the community. So if I could also provide a massive value add to the community in some way by creating software, I would love to do that at some point. I just have to figure out how to do it. But that would be definitely the next level. That would be the final boss. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, it's that time. It's 7:30. I had a great time. Fun time hanging out with everyone here at the Best Western in Santa Barbara, California. Not going to be here very much longer. That's why I'm telling you where I'm at, so no one can come stalk me. I'm just joking. But yeah, you're welcome, Jan. Have a good one. Just if you didn't know, I have a Discord channel. It's free if you want to join, and it's linked in the description of this video. Also, what else? I have a newsletter. That if you want to join, that's also a link down below. I have one-on-one coaching available. So if you want one-on-one coaching, that's also available. I can help you out, answer any of your questions. Anything else? Just dropped a video on YouTube with Shanna Mann from Central Virginia Prep. That's this prep center that I use. So if you're looking towards getting a prep center, watch that video. I think it'd be very helpful to you. Prep centers, for those who don't know, is basically just a way for you to not have to prep the books yourself and send them to your house. You can actually send them to a prep center and they can send them to Amazon for you. And, it's something that I'd rather do because, when it comes to my business, the thing that makes me the most money is the sourcing part. If you were to take every part of my business on an hour per hour basis, like how much money I make per hour. So sourcing is definitely my strong suit. Prepping books is not my strong suit. So let's let someone else do that. You're welcome, Chris. So everyone, hope you have a great day and get some good books out there, and I'll see you on the next one. All right. We got Checkmate Flips. I always tune in super label. What's up, everyone? Yeah, we're about to end the stream right now. But good to see you, Seth, man. If you don't know Seth, go follow the channel at Checkmate Flips. He's doing cool things. All right, Seth. Sorry I have to go right now, but great session as always, Tom. Thanks. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, take it easy. All right, everyone. Peace out. Yeah, see you later, Seth. Peace.